Quick disclaimer, we are not investigative journalists. We simply read, watch, and listen to whatever we can to satisfy our curiosity while use this information to form our own personal opinions. Do not take this as investigative journalism. This is simply our own rabbit holes.
Hello, friends, and get ready. We're going to talk about the docs, the crimes, and all the people involved. This is Crime and Chill.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Victoria.
Hi Victoria, how are you?
This episode feels doomed.
This is the second time trying to record it, and this week just feels like an epic fail all the way around. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
No, this week is just not good. You've had food poisoning, I've had food poisoning, and just anything that could go wrong today went wrong today, and I think we're both done.
Let me just say that I thought having the puppy would be so much more fun than having my mom's other dog. Mainly because I always have my mom's other dog.
I'm sure once Roxy gets used to her, it'll be fine.
I've never had a puppy before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Kind of feel like I should have just taken the old dog.
Puppies have a lot of energy.
And I already have a toddler who isn't a toddler anymore. He's in freaking school. I don't even know what to call him. He's a little kid.
He's a little guy.
He's a preschooler. And he has enough energy to literally wake the dead and give them all the energy they need to survive another year and still have his own energy.
Which is, oh my God, I just want a quarter of that energy.
Like, I just don't understand where it comes from.
So, because the first attempt at recording this just went to hell, we're going to talk about crime news we've talked about in the past and give you updates on those. But before we do that, there was a few things going on that I read about that I wanted to talk about. So, first, R. Kelly was found guilty this week of several charges, including sexual exploitation of a child, bribery, racketeering, and sex trafficking involving 5 victims. And he is currently facing 10 years to life in prison, but it'll be like 8 months until the sentencing, which I don't understand why we have to wait 8 months, but whatever. That's just annoying to me. Personally, this case is like 25 years in the making as far as how long all this crap has been going on with him. He married Aaliyah when she was 15 years old in 1994, so I mean, we obviously know the man likes them entirely too young. Plus, in the past, he was brought up on child pornography charges, which were either he was found not guilty or dropped. I don't remember. Do you remember?
I believe they were dropped, but they were like dropped in a sketchy way. I'm not sure. It was so long ago, and I was kind of young, and I was
everything with R. Kelly is sketchy. Let's just start there.
I was singing the "Come Out of the Closet" song by him, so in my mind, nothing he did was wrong. Because I didn't know, because I was naive, so...
I mean, listen, I'll still bop to I Believe I Can Fly.
I believe I can fly. I believe...
Girl, you trying to get us copyrighted?
Man. I said the sky, not touch the sky, so no copyright there.
But yeah, so I'm glad that he was finally found guilty, and I really hope that he does get life in prison, because that's what he deserves. You're a sick fuck.
Yeah.
One of the other things that caught my attention is Dylan Roof was denied a new appellate hearing.
You said it again.
Did I say it wrong again?
Yeah.
What is it?
I can't say it, but so I'm not going to, but I know that's wrong.
Well, if you can't say it, then you can't laugh at me. Whatever. He was denied another appeal hearing, basically. Okay? We're just going to go with that. If you don't know who... I said it how it's spelled. Appellate. I don't know. Whatever. So Dylan Roof was charged and sentenced to death in 2015.
It's appellate.
Appellate?
Appellate, that's it.
The fuck?
Oh, no.
Okay. He was denied an appellate hearing. I don't think anybody cares.
No, I just knew it was because I used to say it in like that class I took, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about? I had to go like figure out what Dylan Roof's crime was earlier, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely not how you say it.
Well, he was charged and sentenced to death back in 2015 for the race-fueled murder of 9 black people in a church in South Carolina. He's only 27. You know, I don't. This is one of those cases where there's no appeal for him.
He doesn't need an appeal. He wanted the death penalty. He got the death penalty.
So why is he trying to appeal it? And I think the reason now, and this is just my personal opinion, is because now it's actually like realistically he could be put to death. Back in 2015 and up until like last year, I think South Carolina had the death penalty, but it wasn't being implemented because South Carolina does it by lethal injection, and the lethal injection jugs had expired, so they couldn't use them, which I don't understand. If it's designed to kill you and then it expires, wouldn't it just kill you more? That's my thought process.
Or maybe it wasn't as strong, so it may not kill you.
Oh, maybe. But they, so South Carolina's brought back death by firing squad. So maybe that's why he's trying to appeal, because now he's like, oh shit, I could actually legitimately die now. I don't know.
I mean, if he didn't want to legitimately die, life in prison would have been the same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What's it?
All that matters is there's no appeal in this case. There's no question that he did it. He did it. He admitted it. He's on video of going in and out of the church. There's sounds along with those videos.
There was times when he was bragging about it. So anyways, he did it.
Yeah. And then the last thing is Robert Long. You might know that name. I do believe it was at the beginning of this year when he committed it was considered a mass shooting. And he was convicted and sentenced for the shooting and killing of 4 people outside of a massage business in Atlanta. And he had to face more charges in another county. And now he's pleading not guilty to those charges of murder, aggravated assault, and domestic terrorism. So he pled guilty to the first 4 charges he faced in a different county, and now he's pleading not guilty.
So I thought about this. Okay. What if he really didn't do the other ones? And that's why he's pleading not guilty. I don't want him to plead guilty for something he didn't do when there's a killer on the fucking loose. So if, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he really didn't do it. That's why we have a court of law. We'll see.
But he's 22. So we have this 22-year-old and this other 27-year-old that threw away their lives.
This
because they killed a bunch of people.
How bad mental health issues are in our United States of America.
And make it clear, I have no sympathy for these people. It's just something I noticed with their ages. So that's that. That's what caught my attention this week.
I have a crime news story that I meant to tell you earlier and I forgot. But when I heard this story, I was like, oh my God, I'm saving this.
Okay.
So a man in Alabama, Pleasant Grove, which sounds so pleasant, Alabama, was arrested for stealing a car. He is released later that day and steals another one and goes, AWOL for a couple days. Guess where they found him?
Where?
Sleeping on a pile of snacks and meth. Literally, he was found sleeping on a pile of chicken fingers, chips, candy, and methamphetamine.
Take out the meth and that's me on my period.
Like, what? So he breaks into a concession stand and takes all these snacks and falls asleep on them. What the fuck? Okay. First of all, it was less than 2 hours after being released for the first break-in and stealing property that he goes and does it again and steals a whole fucking car. And they catch you asleep on snacks and meth.
Don't do drugs.
I was like, what in the fucking world? He was 37 years old, or he is 37 years old. He was arrested on September 17th, and he's in the Jefferson County Jail in Alabama. But I was just like,
hopefully they didn't stupidly let him out again.
Yeah, I know, but of all places to find a criminal sleeping on a pile of chicken fingers, chips, candy, and meth. I mean, you would think it was marijuana with all those munchies, like not meth. I didn't think people on meth ate.
Not a lot, usually, so that's weird. Maybe he wasn't eating. Maybe he was literally using it as a bed.
I mean, he was in a press box. I'm sure there was chairs in there.
Maybe they weren't comfortable. Maybe the snacks were more comfortable.
I want to know if the chicken fingers were cooked or frozen. Like maybe
that is a good question. Now I want to know.
I know, they don't say.
That's going to live in my brain now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. His name was Matthew Williamston, so if there's any updates on that one, I'd love to see what happens.
If we ever find out if the chicken tenders were cooked or frozen, we'll be sure to let y'all know.
I know. We will.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about previous crime news we have talked about in other episodes. As you know, at the beginning of every episode, we talk about something going on in the crime world. And we're here to bring you updates on those cases that do have updates, because I think there's only 2 of them that did not have updates. 3, sorry. Shane Zachary Flowers had no updates. He was the one that murdered his 18-month-old son. All I can say is I hope he's sitting in a prison cell rotting. Paul Tay, there is no updates. That was recent, and one of the more recent ones we talked about was Fallon Harris, and there is no current updates on that case. Everything is the same. So and Connor, unfortunately. Connor Ethan Lloyd, which was a local case for us. That was just in the news again because they have no leads on it.
That case still baffles me.
Yeah, me too. So if you happen to live in the Lyman area and you know what happened to Connor Ethan Lloyd, please go to the police. But they literally were just in the news talking about this, I think 2 days ago, saying that they had no leads and they were pleading for information again.
Well, hopefully that touched somebody enough to get some information. But there are plenty of cases with updates. Which one do you want to start on?
So we'll run through the quicker ones first. We'll start with Alex Sabrit, which we're probably still saying that wrong, but it's fine. Alexis Sabrit.
Yeah, I think you said it right.
So he, if you remember, he murdered and beheaded his girlfriend, America Thayer. And at the time, he was only being charged with second-degree murder. The charges have now been upped, and he is being charged with first-degree murder as well as second-degree murder.
Well, good. How could that not be first-degree murder? It takes a lot of work to literally behead somebody. So, I'm sorry, but that's a thought process. You thought. You don't just accidentally, or in the heat of the moment, behead somebody. That one, I'm glad they made that decision, and hopefully that case is heard, in a reasonable time.
So when we have more updates about his eventual trial and sentencing, we'll let you know, because there's no doubt he did it. There's video proof of him dumping the body. Okay, so we talked a bit about David Weidert. He was the person that was getting parole in California for first-degree murder. He was released on August 16th of 2021 from prison. We also talked mad shit about California's governor. I stand by everything we said, even though, unfortunately...
How did that recall go the way that it did?
Yeah. There was a recall vote which left the governor of California in office. But the sister of the victim in David's case is being very public and speaking out a lot because she wants the laws changed. So David was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. So that means he had the legal ability to be paroled. I think, from my understanding and reading what she had to say and everything where she speaks, it seems like she wants, it maybe in general or just in California, that if somebody's convicted of first-degree murder, that all of it should be life without the possibility of parole.
See, I don't agree with that.
There's a reason that it's sometimes life with possibility of parole and life with no possibility of parole. There's circumstance at play.
Yep. I don't think...
And David was young. And I think that's why he had possibility of parole.
And he still spent, 40 years in there? It wasn't I know he's still young enough to live some kind of a life. And I know when we first talked about him being released, did I think it was a good idea? No. But much like the case that we were supposed to be talking about, people do change.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't think that we should... I don't want to kick myself in the ass. I'm knock on wood. I hope I'm never in a position where I have to go to a parole hearing for somebody murdering someone I love. But
yeah,
and I mean murder, in the sense of murder. But I do think that this case aside, he was just fucking crazy. I don't know. I don't think that should be the way it is. But that's just me.
Like I said, it all depends on circumstances. That's why there's 2 different forms of sentencing when it comes to life in prison. I do not agree with him being let out because of the circumstances of what happened. Yes, he might have been 16, 17 years old at the time.
He was 20.
He was 20. Okay, so he was 20 years old. He was a legal adult, knew what he was doing. The circumstances as to far as what happened in that case, I don't think he should have been let out because they also kept blocking his parole. So what changed in a year that that governor decided to allow his parole?
That is key point. That's the reason why I don't agree with him being released. But like, what if you are convicted of first-degree murder for a snapped moment, and they try to say it's, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's so many. I don't know.
There's so many. There's so much in there that I do not agree with the sister wanting to change the law. There's too much at play. There's too much that happens that I don't think.
I mean, how many people are wrongfully convicted to begin with?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
right, which one do you want to do next?
Let's see. Oh, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go South Carolina and Murdo away.
All right. Take it away, Rachel.
Well, Murdo, and I've actually learned how to properly say his name, but I'm pretty sure I just said it wrong again. Alec has been. Now, did we talk about him being arrested? Were we at that point when he was arrested, or was that?
We were not at that point. We were still trying to figure out if he shot himself or what happened.
Oh yeah. So story comes. He paid someone to shoot him in the head because this moron didn't know that his life insurance policy would have paid out for suicide. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say that as an attorney who worked in liability law, it scares me that this man did not know how to read his own contract for a freaking life insurance policy, which makes me wonder even more if that was really what he was trying to do. So yes, he is shot in the head. He then is found to have been lied to the police. He paid a man to shoot him in the head and failed. He got arrested for insurance fraud and a couple other things. I honestly can't think of it off the top of my head. Scamming of the insurance companies, whole bunch of other stuff. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like if you were too scared to kill yourself, take a bunch of fucking pills.
There was a million other ways to do it other than wrapping some poor soul into your shit. Because listen, I've listened to interviews of the guy that is getting brought up on charges of everything, and the one that he paid to shoot was going to pay to shoot him. He seems like a sweet guy. He seems like he got taken advantage of, if I'm being honest. Like he trusted Alec, and he shouldn't have. But I feel like
Alec is a manipulator.
Yeah, I feel like he was manipulated. While yes, this man is a grown ass man, manipulation is manipulation.
Yes, Alex is such a manipulator that the next thing we're going to bring up in the Alec Murdaugh case is that there's a new murder investigation or a new death investigation that SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Agency, department is now investigating. His housekeeper of over 20 years dies from an accident that happened in his home back in 2018. She supposedly, and this is the story that we have heard, she supposedly trips over the family dog going up the stairs and suffers a traumatic brain injury. There's no information of how she gets to the hospital, but she does spend 3 weeks in ICU and then proceeds to pass away from her injuries. The family obviously holds a funeral service. And Alex goes to the two sons and says, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. Go down. I'm going to take you to this lawyer." Whatever the next business day was. This lawyer that he takes him to is actually a family friend. And what the hell? Tells the boys that they are going to sue his home insurance company for liability, and they are going to get paid big bucks. Now it is 2021. This case has supposedly been closed, but the boys have never received a dime. What? Supposedly they were supposed to only get $500,000, but if you get the court records, millions of dollars was paid out into this case, and the sons have not received a single penny. Okay.
Again, Alec Murdaugh is a manipulator.
Yes, because he, as an attorney, it sounds like he was trying to do the right thing. You are not allowed to accept liability for someone's injuries on your property. Your home insurance company can automatically deny the claim for that. So to say, yes, it is my fault, and then to take you to a family friend attorney, that's just sketch, okay? As an attorney, you should have known better. Now, the judges that worked on this case did not recluse themselves. They chose to stay on the case. When the boat accident comes in 2019, they stay on the case for a little bit of time, but as the case got bigger and bigger, all of a sudden they pull out.
I wonder why.
Because they were too close to the family. But because they were getting all this media attention now, they had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
There was a boat crash in 2019 where Alex Murdaugh's son was the driver of the boat. A 19-year-old girl was killed in an accident that occurred during his drunk driving and rage-fueled night. And his name was Paul. Paul has not well, now Paul's dead, but Paul did not receive any kind of charges at the time, and he was still just living his happy old life. Well, Alec tried putting Connor, which was another person on this boat, as the driver of the boat. Connor is now suing the Murdaugh family.
As you should, sir, because if you were not actually driving that boat, you better sue.
Yes. So the drama that's involved in this family, like, this is something made for TV. Like, you would not believe this is real life unless you are following it as obsessively as I am. I don't understand why I'm so obsessed with it. Maybe because it is local. I mean, as local can get, I guess. There is a great podcaster. Her name is Mandy. I don't know, but it's called The Murdaugh Files. She is a private investigative journalist and has been following this case since the boat accident and has amazing sources. Like, not saying jump ship and go listen to another podcast, but I'm saying you should go listen to that podcast because I'm in love with it.
Yeah, I haven't listened to as much of it as Rachel, but I have listened to some of it, and it is very, very interesting and highly suggest. So you can listen to 2 crime podcasts. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time. I'm always running out of stuff. There is something that if you've listened to it now, does her voice annoy you?
It doesn't annoy me now, but I know it annoys a lot of people, apparently.
Yeah, I don't understand why. What's wrong with her voice?
I don't know. I was literally reading that in the Murdaugh crime group on Facebook. Somebody said something about her voice was annoying. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Her voice is just a voice. What are people saying about my voice?
That's what I was sitting here thinking. I'm like, wait, is my voice annoying? Because I think my voice is annoying, but I also sit here and have to listen to it continuously.
Yeah, like I don't. So I don't listen to our pod. I listen to bits and clips after you finish editing it because I don't like listening to my own voice. And when I edit my other podcast, I literally close my ears when it's me talking. But and then I don't listen to that. So I don't listen to that episode all the way through either because I don't like.
You're like, do you listen to your own podcast? I was like, no, I sit here and I edit it. I don't want to hear our fucking voices again for another 5 hours.
Yeah, no, I hate listening to my own voice.
Like, I love you so much, Rachel, but like after I get done editing, I don't want to talk to you for like a good little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't like listening to my own voice. That's the only thing. So yes, Alec Murdaugh is now awaiting trial. He is out. He got out of jail on bond and went back to a rehab facility, supposedly. But
I mean, I hope he's at rehab because obviously he had a drug problem.
Yes, I think there's more, but
there's been so much going on with so many cases that we're following that I haven't been able to keep up with all of them. Yeah, because there's so much going on with all of them at the same time right now.
They're just so juicy. I don't understand. There was reports that his wife had saw a divorce attorney 6 weeks prior to her murder.
I was reading that earlier.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, motive? Maybe. I mean, I hope not. Guys, I know it sounds like weird the way we talk about crime sometimes. We are just interested in it. And like Paul and Maggie, nobody knows what happened to them.
Still.
And we want to know what happened to them because
they were people.
Yeah. Even though it seems like Paul is possibly responsible for the death of a girl.
See, I just don't understand if that was the motive, why kill your own son too?
Supposedly on the 911 call that he can be heard saying, damn it, Paul, I told you not to get involved. Allegedly, supposedly, I'd have to go listen to the 911 call again.
I've listened to it 3 or 4 times. I've never heard that.
I'm just saying. That's what supposedly is in there somewhere. But we don't put that kind of time and effort into this. Like, people sit here and we'll, like, slow it down and listen to it. And I ain't got time for that. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to do it. I have
time to breathe right now. It's football season, and I overextend into helping. and teaching kids. So no, I'm not listening to it like that, but I have listened to it a couple times and I've never heard that. But now I might go slow it down and listen.
So the last case
Yeah.
that we are going to talk about from Crime News, Gabby Petito.
Gabby Petito.
So,
I'm so sorry I was wrong in my theory.
yes. So unfortunately, Gabby's body was found. Brian is still MIA. They don't know where he's at. Interesting enough, Dog the Bounty Hunter is currently in Florida looking for him.
Dude, I hope that turns into its own TV show.
Dude, apparently he's found a fucking campsite and
have you seen the picture of the airplane that he is flying over the area saying we're coming to get you?
No, so it says Aloha Brian and then it says Dog, but Dog has come out and said, I didn't do that, but I wish I would have.
That's hilarious.
So somebody else paid for the plane to go do that. It wasn't Dog the Bounty Hunter. But so apparently, like, Dog's working with them. There's a lot of people that are upset that Dog the Bounty Hunter's out there. And let me explain why. Dog the Bounty Hunter cannot technically arrest him, I don't think. I don't know.
No, he can.
He's out at these scenes. And even, although I'm sure this man's a professional, he's been doing this for God knows how long. Granted, I'm sure a lot of it was amped up for television. But a lot of people are upset he's out there because they're like, he can mess up the crime scene, he can mess up the case, blah, 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 blah.
He trained just as a police officer. Like, and I only know this because my kid wants to be a bounty hunter.
I love
He's
that.
trained to do this. Okay, like this is his job before he was a TV show. He has helped the police solve many cases. And honestly, what he is doing is flushing, regardless of where Brian is, it's a constant media attention and flushing him to make a mistake.
It's also having to remember the FBI, every police involved, they have to follow certain things. Dog doesn't.
Exactly. That's what the advantages of a bounty hunter is.
So you can be upset that he's out there, but he's actually helping. Because he's found a campsite. He's finding out information. Supposedly. I'm pretty sure he's the reason they found out he has a burner phone, supposedly. I don't know.
I don't know if he's the reason they found that. I didn't see that. But while I do think it's hilarious, I love Dog. I mean, I just do.
Well, I do too. I've watched everything ever put out. I have a picture from in front of one of their old storefronts in Hawaii when I went to Hawaii. They did not use that office anymore when I went, unfortunately, but I have a picture in front of it and I was really happy about it.
Hunter. I think that's hilarious. That's one of his life goals besides everything else. He wants to bounty hunt.
Your kid has a lot of life goals, yo.
Yeah, it's good for him, but I told him I'll be a bounty hunter with him. We'll go get the bad guys.
Let's go. So, and again, since we talked about
him ruining crime scene evidence, he is very good at his job and has helped police in multiple cases find their person. And he does have the authority to arrest.
So everybody calm down. Let's all relax. Let's all take a breath. Also, since we've talked about it, Brian had a warrant issued for his arrest, and this was not for murder or anything. It was for using debit cards after Gabby was already dead. So they have not released the autopsy report. We don't know what her cause of death was, but they apparently have put together enough of a timeline and have figured out when she died in order to charge him for using debit cards after her death. So, and today is September 30th when we are recording this, and once again, even though the FBI has been in and out of the laundry house, I don't know how to say it.
Laundry.
They were there again today in the camper.
Yes. And I found
y'all weren't already in the fucking camper?
What did you think? He went back there? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's just sitting.
Why are you just now checking the fucking camper?
I think they found something that they think may have had more. Like, if they went in there, they may have found more evidence. But they also went in his house to get clothes for the dog to sniff to today.
Yeah, everybody, so when they went in and they were getting like DNA stuff, everybody was speculating that they had found his body. And I'm like, they didn't find his body. That would have already been out. Calm down. So he's still out there somewhere, and everybody seems to think he is in. So there's been a million sightings of this man now. He's in Florida. He's in Tennessee. He's in North Carolina.
Yeah, there's somebody said he was like outside of Carowinds, like walking down 85.
And there's have you guys have seen it? There is a TikTok account. His username is not Brian Laundrie.
Yes, he does look like him though.
He does, and bless that man's heart, because he's like, I have to fly for a thing. Can anybody tell me how to not get arrested?
So when I
I'm
saw
like,
that,
oh,
I literally was like, dude, if I was you, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be going to some plastic surgery right now because you
wouldn't
look
be leaving my
spot on.
house.
Spot on, looks just like him. Could be his twin brother.
He does. It's crazy. So before I get to the other part of this case, there's something I want to say. So I live on Twitter. Twitter and TikTok are the two places you will most commonly find me. And I talked about a little bit of Twitter with this when we first talked about Gabby's case of how the true crime podcasters were not getting excited about the case. That's not what's happening. What I need to say now, and this is directed at certain people, and if you hear this, God, I hope you hear this. If you were one of the sick fucks on Twitter, and I have seen this, it's not people making it up. I have actually seen this, Rachel. If you were one of the multiple sick fucks on Twitter saying you can't wait until this is a crime documentary, fuck you. That's not okay. There is somebody that's actually dead. There is a family that is grieving. You don't need to be saying that shit.
You don't need to be saying that shit out loud.
I don't know. Maybe my brain can't work that way because that's
My
never once
brain-
crossed my mind.
My brain is thinking I'll get more information and I can understand more how this went down.
Which, if you said it that way, that's okay. But they're literally saying, "Oh, this is going to be such an entertaining crime doc. Oh, I can't wait till this is a crime doc." Blah blah blah. No, and they're even. I saw a couple of them, and I really hope they got deleted or flagged or reported before the dad saw it. It was on Gabby's dad's Twitter responding to him.
Okay, that's fucked up.
That's too far.
Way too far. Yeah, there's some things you should keep to your own self.
Yeah.
There's just
we're all allowed. We can all be interested in crime. That's great. We're all interested
kind of
in,
feel
I understand why we're all invested.
This poor family has went through so much because it became such a national case that I really don't think it should become a crime doc for at least a decade or two or at all. You've got to see everything. Heck, the neighbor of Brian Laundrie has sit outside with her TikTok every day and you can watch it. So you don't really need any more, like...
Also, people constantly updating on Twitter. There's a lot going on to keep you in the loop about this if you want to be in the loop about it. If you feel that way, that's fine to feel that way. For the love of God, don't go post it on her family's social media. So, in the search for finding information about Gabby, finding out what happened, they recovered another body. It's not connected at all, but Robert Lowry, who has been missing since August of this year. The police said the cases are not connected at all, but they did find his body. And also, last time I talked about Daniel Robinson, a geologist that had gone missing in the same area. The dad posted an update on Twitter that the Buckeye Police Department has finally contacted him, and they are going to do a search on October 28th because of public pressure. So the son has been missing since July 23rd. Or June 23rd, I'm sorry, and their last search was July 19th. So now they are doing another search on October 28th for Daniel.
So they're going to wait a whole nother month to go back looking?
Yep.
That sounds like a whatever. Idiots.
Yep.
Before we close out the whole Gabby Petito conversation, though, can we talk about the two women that were murdered in the same day? What's the likelihood of that?
Two women that were murdered? Yeah. I don't know. I have questions.
I mean, murders happen every day. I get that. It's just so fishy.
Yeah, it's very fishy that in the same area that these two women were murdered, Gabby and Brian were there. Like I said, there was like a whole stretch of a theory of them doing it. I don't think that's what happened. And they have nothing to connect it to Brian currently, but that doesn't mean that won't change. But it is an interesting point of something else that's going on that you might have missed because this came out and happened right before Gabby was reported missing. And if you did, I suggest you look into it. I think we got it covered. You good?
I'm good.
All right, guys. Sorry this was just a different kind of episode. We'll get back to our normal spiel next week, but this week you just get us talking about all the crime news. Be sure to join our Facebook group, Crime and Chill Fam, for episode updates. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and TikTok, because I post on the Tickety of Talks, and sometimes they're funny, and they don't get enough likes, and I'm sad about it. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. Bye!